But over here on the left side is Jake RIGGS. Jake RIGGS is actually one of my formal locals here, and I've known Jake since he first entered the Masters division. And his previous best placement here, as you see under the results, Indianapolis Regional Top 64. So this is the best that we have seen from Jake RIGGS playing this Qian Pao deck. Coming in hot here, and this is his first time on stream as well. I am so excited. Definitely rooting for Jake here. I'm a little biased because I've known him for a while.
Well, on the other side, we have DEMETRIS EATON with a lot of accomplishments. Been moving up since even 2014 in the seniors division as a national champion, but 2022, we see a top 8 finish at a regional. The London Open starting off the season strong with that top 4 finish, and then a top 16 at the Liverpool regional. Playing the Gardevoir deck, we know this is one that when it's in the right hands of a great player, it's going to have a lot of success. But you're playing against Qian Pao.
Yep.
And oh boy, does Qian Pao have some moves here in the early stages of this game.
Well, as you said before, Kyle, these players did match up against each other. And who came out on top in that match, Kyle?
DEMETRIS.
DEMETRIS did win in that matchup between these players. So Jake RIGGS is going to have another chance here to potentially take down this Gardevoir and go for the win this time.
Oh.
Let's check out the prize cards here for our players.
Double cross switcher at the top.
Yeah, that's...
One Ralts prize for DEMETRIS, not too bad. Oh boy.
That's definitely not what you want to see for sure here for Jake, but we've talked about this all weekend, Kyle. This is the matchup we've been waiting to see. This is what the community picked as well in our Twitch chat to jump into as well, because this is kind of the widely debated matchup in our community that has been that way for a long time. Some people say, oh, it's a 50-50, and some people say that Qian Pao is more favored going into this matchup, but who knows what's going to happen here, Kyle. I'm excited, and I know you're very hyped to cast this one.
Yes, the needle is pointing towards DEMETRIS to start things off with a look at those prize cards, but either way, this should be a fantastic match for us. Excited to see what Jake has for us. Obviously, this is going to be his first time on stream.
Yeah.
Give us a show, young man.
The nerves, I'm sure, are there, but we have the handshake, and we're getting into this. This is our Masters top 8
That's
here.
how you start the turn!
Are you serious, Kyle?
Man, if he passed with Gardevoir to start things off.
That is absolutely unseen. Just a Manaphy here from DEMETRIS pass over to Jake, and that's what you want to see if you're Jake RIGGS here. Qian Pao jumping straight into the deck off of that Shivery Chill. So not only going to get some energy, but going to get a look at the deck. But, I mean, look at how your opponent started.
Yeah, what an ideal start here for Jake. Gets to start things off with the water energies. They can be one of the more difficult things to find if you don't have one in your opening hand.
Yeah.
Looks like the Irida is there as well. So
Beautiful.
Not only you can start off with the Radiant Greninja and the VIP pass, we'll see so many cards on this opening turn. This is exactly what you want to see starting out the top 8 if you're a fan of Jake.
Yeah, absolutely. The luck is definitely in favor of Jake here. Maybe picking some up after not being able to take down DEMETRIS earlier in the day. So we're going to see these Pokemon popping out of the deck here off of that Battle VIP pass sought out by that Irida. I mean, Qian Pao is kind of the perfect deck here to have some favor. I mean, there's cards there to search out everything you need in the beginning stages if your opponent is bricking. You know, like you just have it. Your opponent bricks, and you are off to the races, essentially.
There's such a level of consistency with this build, as we saw 2 Irida in the opening hand, already has the Frigibacks down. That means Candy Baxcaliburs lined up. There's already 4 energies at their disposal, and at this point, Jake certainly should be able to find all the resources to at least attack next turn, take a knockout, and look at this. Consistency here with the double Bidoof could really draw into all the cards, maybe even find cross switchers if the Ralts is played next turn.
Yeah, that is huge. 2 Bidoof join in the fields. We have a full bench here now on Jake RIGGS' side. Every single card utilized to its fullest. That basic energy going down on that Qian Pao. And then we're over to DEMETRIS, and all DEMETRIS can do is an Iono for the turn to start things off.
Yeah, just a Gardevoir top decked there, nothing to do with that. So Iono's trying to find basic Pokemon. We see a Cresselia. I guess we need to be more specific. We need Ralts. Oh no.
Oh, no, indeed. We see, yeah, just that Cresselia and then a ton of energy? What is in this hand?
Basically,
that is it?
there's a Kirlia and another Iono, just another reset. And it's way too slow for this point in time. The benefit here is even if the Wombo combo cross switchers and canceling Cologne is available, Cresselia has enough hit points to withstand.
Yeah, that is good, but I mean, as a Gardevoir player, this is absolutely not what you want to be looking at. Your deck is a setup deck. You need as much as you can on these opening turns, especially DEMETRIS went first. We saw 0 setup there, and it's just continuing to go just as poorly. So DEMETRIS gonna have to hang on tight, see if he can pull things through here against Jake. But I mean, look at the other side of the field. We have a full bench. We have evolutions ready to go. Irida now going back into the deck to search out whatever you want, as long as it's a water Pokemon and an item card. And the Ultra Ball is gonna come out here off of that Irida and to go right back into the deck.
Yeah, Jake looks so confident here. We see the Ultra Ball played down. You can search out the Bibarel and have access to, if you do start to draw pretty thinly with those Ionos. We see 4 of those in the list for DEMETRIS, so that is one comeback mechanism, but no longer, as the hands can continue to be recycled there for Jake.
Yep, we're going to see these rare candy come out now. The first Baxcalibur down, using that super cold ability to accelerate those energy onto the field, onto this Champao in the active position. And we're going to start seeing these knockouts be taken.
Yeah, and from Jake, we see also holding back on the Pokestop. Don't want to give your opponent access to any additional cards.
Oh my
gosh. Watch them continue to drown on the other side. Once more, just looking at 6 more cards, hoping, begging, pleading for basic Pokemon.
Yeah, DEMETRIS is drowning in snow right now from that Champao. Can we get anything here to help us?
Mew? Mew could find Level Ball, Fog Crystal, something.
Yeah, that at least is something. We're going to see that retreat off the Manaphy that was manually attached to into this mysterious tail to find us an item card. It's going to be that Fog Crystal here for DEMETRIS.
And this is one benefit from playing against Jake in situations like this. We see the double cross switchers that were in the prize cards. There's only one more set if you want to target a Pokemon like that, Ralts. No Boss's Orders featured in a list like this. Is the Wombo combo available? If it is, could shut off that Manaphy, knock out both Pokemon, basically seal up the game.
Oh, could it come down to a top deck, Kyle?
Please.
Oh my gosh.
Chien-Pao lives for those moments.
Yeah,
we see
seriously.
the Irida in hand. Shivery Chill can commence. If Radiant Greninja is able to find at least the cross switcher here, then that would be very favorable.
Yep, eyeing that up. You can see Jake thinning the deck here, getting that water energy out. Shuffling up now.
At worst for Jake, if you don't see either piece, you could always use the Irida, search out the Ultra Ball, have access to 2 Bibarel, and continue to draw with both of them and maybe find the right resources.
Well, let's see what happens here for Jake RIGGS. Will he be able to do it? He's going to attach some energy first here onto the field.
Yeah, looks like Jake. Oh, we're done.
Oh,
DEMETRIS is out of here. There's no way. Oof. As soon as you see an energy on that Radiant Greninja, probably losing that Ralts. Does not want to waste any more time or brain power, dare I say, as we move into game 2.
Well, I gotta say, Kyle, I did not expect for that match to go like that, but it was unfortunately not too great for DEMETRIS there. We did not get to see the full potential of both these decks, which, if you're Jake RIGGS, you are very happy about that. But here as casters, you know, we always want to see some nice gameplay here, and especially with this matchup as well. This is the one the community voted for. This is the matchup that's pretty heavily debated still as well of, you know, who's favored, who's not. So I kind of want to see the full potential of both these decks, especially from DEMETRIS, who's a very incredible player.
Right. Did we learn anything other than the run hot Chien-Pao beats everything? I've been preaching that forever now at this point, and sure enough, we did see it running hot. Everything working Jake's way there. Had access to the Bibarel, the rare candy Baxcalibur, everything loaded up, and just knockout after knockout. Didn't even have to show all the special tricks that we're well aware of in this matchup. DEMETRIS knew about those too, but couldn't do anything if you don't have a Ralts.
Yep, tried to get bailed out with that Mew, but ended up scooping it up here. And we're just going to go into a game 2 between these players. So we're seeing the setup now. I guess on paper here, what do you want to see from an initial turn from DEMETRIS? Is it just standard Gardevoir?
Yeah, you want to
wow.
force your opponent. Oh, this is pretty important. There are only 3 rare candies in this list.
Yeah.
It's a very standard list that you see almost everyone using. The one Iono can sometimes be Zinnia or something like that. Everyone else is playing the same 60.
Oh, that is tough. Once again, pretty awkward here for Jake Riggs in the prize cards, but here we go. We're starting off this game 2 between these players over on DEMETRIS' side of the field now, starting us off here with a Ralts in the active position and a Radiant Greninja out on the field. Going into the deck here with a Fog Crystal as well to search out another Pokemon. This is already looking fantastic compared to the last game. We've already used that concealed cards on the Radiant Greninja as well, so now we're just going to take a quick look through the deck.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was another Psychic Energy, but if there were, then the retreat into a Mew would be a potential play here instead. Looks like it is just the Ralts. So if you have both of those in play, you're lined up for at least that turn 2 Mirage Step with Kirlia. If you can find that, you feel a lot more comfortable. Usually want to combine that with the Manaphy, and then you feel a little more comfortable in this matchup.
Yeah, definitely getting off to a much better start here for DEMETRIS. Let's take a look at the rest of the hand here. We do see that energy attachment onto that active Ralts.
Oh, okay. The Mirage Step's already in hand. Yeah, you don't need to play games if you already have it. That is very good for DEMETRIS.
We're going to be Mirage Stepping as long as that stays in the hand for DEMETRIS. Over onto Jake's side now. Pretty standard here. Chien-Pao going into the deck off that Shivery Chill. Taking a look at the cards here as well. And we're going to get this turn kicked off.
Yeah, built-in Professor's Letter to start things off. You gotta love that. Irida, obviously the go-to supporter of the deck. You play 4 for a reason. You want to find these Pokemon, get rolling. Radiant Greninja is usually a guarantee in these opening setups, as you just want to continue to draw with all these fresh new water energies you found.
Yeah, Irida has been an incredible inclusion, really into any water deck. We've seen it in the past. Now we're seeing it in the present here with Chien-Pao. Jake Riggs is definitely a water Pokemon fan. You know, Kyle, at the last regional, he actually played Blastoise EX.
I mean, Baxcalibur is like the spiritual Blastoise of old with Splat Rain Dance and all that, so I'm okay with that.
All right, here we go. Jake having a pretty solid turn of his own here on the left side of our field with a Battle VIP pass now. Taking out these Pokemon, putting them on the field. These are Pokemon that we need to see evolutions into. This is how the kind of system keeps running with Chien-Pao. You got your Frigibacks out there, the Bidoof coming down. What else would you like to see from this initial start, Kyle?
Well, I want to mention there's a unique opening that we saw here. Last game we saw grab the Frigibacks with the Irida, play that into the hand, and grab the Radiant Greninja, then draw. This time, held the VIP pass, used the Radiant Greninja, trying to find additional Pokemon. So you can tell Jake feels a little more comfortable if he's able to bench multiple Pokemon off the jump here. Ends up finding the Bidoof now with the Ultra Ball, which maybe is not your ideal way of finding this Pokemon, but the more the merrier. You eventually can draw into all those resources. Yeah,
we don't see any hesitation in benching Pokemon with Chien-Pao most of the time. Of course, depends on the matchup, but we see lots of Pokemon joining the field here for Jake. It's going to just be one single Frigibax, though, on the field. But now we're over onto DEMETRIS' side. Here we do see that Mirage Step Kirlia joining the squad into an Iono.
All right, this is my least favorite moment right here. Iono.
Oh, no.
Please do not find Refinement Kirlias. 2 VIP pass.
Okay.
It's the one time you just want to find bad cards, I suppose.
One more?
And that
all right, there you go.
Just fine.
Just fine indeed. You have.
Don't draw him here, though.
Oh, no.
No, there's one.
Oh,
okay.
gosh, that was scary.
Yeah, this is definitely worrisome. Now, it is good that we see the one there. There is Ultra Ball in the hand, so you could. We're drawing more cards.
Oh, wow.
It's dangerous. The Ultra Ball here, though, can grab the Manaphy. You have 2 more bench spaces for the final 2 Refinement Kirlias. And you're okay. We can breathe easy now.
I feel like your life just flashed before your eyes, Kyle.
I mean, you're talking about the sub 1%ers, but they happen. And when they do, it's awful. Anyone who's played Greninja knows that is like the one way to lose a game right there.
That's true.
And are the cards even worth it at that point? It worked out this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. We see that Mirage Step kicking it into gear here, getting those Kirlia out onto the field for DEMETRIS. And now we're back to Jake. So Chien Pao still in act position here. Going to jump into the deck with that Shivery Chill, how we start off almost every turn.
This is not the greatest hand. Thankfully, there is a shuffle effect, as we know that there was a Baxcalibur and a Bibarel on the bottom of the deck. Now gets to shuffle those resources. Draw with the Radiant Greninja.
Oh, that's good.
And the bailout button of Pokestop is there if you need to spin the wheel, but you don't have the Pokemon right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Needs to find an Irida right here.
All right, let's see if we can get it. We're going to use this concealed cards coming up for Jake to draw into 2. Chien Pao and a Bibarel.
Yeah, but there's no great way to thin this hand out.
No, not really. Pokestop going to be rolled here.
Rare Candy, Ultra Ball, something. There's a lot of resources. They all stink right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they go to the hands.
You almost
They're not
don't want
discarded.
them.
Yeah, but you don't want them. You're trying to thin to try to draw into more cards with that Bibarel. But this is a huge hand here for Jake, but just awkward items here. It's just going to be a knockout from that Chien Pao to take a prize card off of that Kirlia. And we're back over to DEMETRIS' side. Lots of Kirlia out on the field. We're going to see some refining. We already have several Psychic Energy in the discard pile here for DEMETRIS.
Yeah, this is certainly the turn where you've shown that you've withstanded the storm. If you evolve these Pokemon at this point, you're probably in a pretty favorable position.
Snowstorm's over.
Yep, we hunkered down.
Snow's been cleared. The sun is out. We've seen that first refinement here from DEMETRIS.
This is certainly a pop-off scenario. There's Fog Crystal to find additional energy for the Radiant Greninja. We see the Shining Arcana Gardevoir loaded up too.
Yeah, that Shining Arcana can now be used. It's been evolved into, going to draw into 2 cards. It does have the option to attach that energy, but it's just going to keep it to the hand here and go into 2 level balls into the deck now.
Yeah, didn't want the free energy at that point. And wants to hold on to that maybe for the Radiant Greninja, but yeah, Fog Crystal for that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, any Pokemon 90 HP or less being sought out. Going to be that Mew and a Ralts from DEMETRIS, thinning the deck even more. We have a Fog Crystal.
Oh, do we have combos?
Mew EX.
Boss's Orders onto the Radiant Greninja, double knockout the Frigibax would be insane right now.
What is happening? Mew EX popped out of nowhere here.
What? I don't know if their cards are in hand right now, but if they are, that'd be unreal. Radiant Greninja's going to try things out. Looking for at least the Gardevoir EX.
It's just a reversal energy and a worker.
Still refinement. Curly has
yeah,
2 of them to go.
Refinement.
Ultra Ball, a Gardevoir EX would be huge here.
Just a
Can
Fog
thin down a little more with the Fog Crystal.
Wow, Kyle.
this could definitely be the turn.
Scary,
this is why when we saw Mew first revealed, everyone got excited. We were trying to find the right deck which can capitalize on this Pokemon. This is a situation where it looks very good. Looking, final 2 cards. Can it be found? We do not see a Gardevoir EX.
Yeah, your Pokestop going in?
No.
Oh. Just going to be a Psychic Energy hitting the discard pile for a Rare Candy and another level ball. DEMETRIS, so much draw there, but not able to find it. Cresselia is just going to join us on the bench here. I'll tell you what, if DEMETRIS was able to pull that off, that would have put Mew EX back on the map for so many people.
That was a pop-off moment, ready to roll. Just could not capitalize on it. But the important piece here now, do you use Boss's Orders and take a knockout on one of these potentially relevant Pokemon on the bench? Do you Iono and go for the Gardevoir? It has to be on the top 6 now, right? We looked at every other card.
We've looked at everything. That is very true. It's like just checking it out, checking out the hand here, debating it, wiggling it.
What is the main threat as well? And wants to go after the Bibarel.
Yeah, the Bibarel is going to be taken out here by that Gardevoir by DEMETRIS. That's going to be 1 prize card. What are you thinking, Kyle?
I'm thinking we need to see some really good cards off Radiant Greninja this turn. If Jake wants to play in this game, Baxcalibur has to hit the field this turn. There is one rare candy in the deck.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Jake, super unlucky with those prize cards. 2 rare candy in the prize cards still remaining for Jake. Unfortunate turn of events, but we'll see if we can have some concealed cards revealing some good cards.
I wonder if it's almost Pokestop first, but then you're going to see the Irida and you'll hate yourself.
Yeah, that's tough.
We'll just Radiant Greninja.
Here we go, concealed cards.
No.
Ooh, yeah, that is just a Manaphy and a cross switcher. Gonna be the Pokestop now.
There's the one rare candy. You can't grab the Baxcalibur, though.
Yeah, it's going to the discard pile. Pokestop only taking item cards here.
Oh, this is so dangerous. All these resources.
My
if there was a rare candy Baxcalibur, we could be talking about the combo.
Yeah.
Cross switchers, canceling Cologne, bring up the Manaphy, double knockout, 2 Curlias, and the game completely flips on its head.
Yeesh. We're just going to see that Hisuian Heavy Ball. Of course, no targets in the prize cards here for Jake Riggs. That Hisuian Heavy Ball just going to go to the discard pile. But honestly, that's pretty good because the rare candy were like at the top
Can we just mention if the Pokestop happened first, Jake does have candy Baxcalibur.
You're right. Oh my gosh, you're so right.
He would have had the order right there.
Jeez.
And I think sometimes that is the right line because Pokestop can find you ways to thin with items that you potentially draw, and then you draw closer towards the Baxcalibur, but did not work in that case.
My gosh, it's just been an absolutely unfortunate turn of events here for Jake Riggs. Back over to DEMETRIS now. Jake just promoting the Frigibacks, one of those Frigibacks. And we're going over here. That's going to be a sacrificial Frigibacks in the active there. But DEMETRIS is looking to eye down some targets and take some knockouts here on this turn.
I'm trying to line up the plays. There's no lost vacuum in this list for DEMETRIS, but if there was, there could have been Collapse Stadium, and then remove that with the vacuum, play down your Mew, boss up the Radiant Greninja, get the double knockout on the Frigibacks once more. It's not going to line up in one turn because Jake did not open up a bench space.
That is pretty wild, Kyle. We're going to just see the evolution there into that Gardevoir EX. And now going into an Iono between both of these players. So both players going to shuffle these hands to the bottom of their deck here and then draw into how many prize cards they have. Of course, both of our players tied up here. 5 prize cards left to take, so 5 cards to the hand.
Oh, no. DEMETRIS saw an additional card.
No, DEMETRIS, no. Yeah, DEMETRIS did look at it. That is so unfortunate.
Before? I don't know. Yeah.
Yep, just 5 cards.
We're going to slow down.
There was we are going to slow down. Of course, you know, every single judge call that is made here, every single misplay, any single break of the board game states does have to be looked at. And of course, you know, this is our top 8. It's very serious. So got to see what's going on here, but that is so unfortunate for DEMETRIS. Just, I'm not at 6 prize cards. I'm only at 5. That should have only been 5 drawn to the hand. And it was like barely looked at too. It was like so close.
Immediately knew that that was not going to be the right thing. It's unfortunate here, and it's funny. Like years ago, this would have been just, oh, well, show your opponent the card, move on. But we're talking about high stakes at this tournament. $10,000 for a winner, so you have to take all of these offenses seriously.
Yeah, you're talking $10,000 for first place, $7,000 for second place. If you get first, you get a guaranteed slot into our World Championship as well. There's so much more on the line here for these players.
I think it's time. We're going to award our first red card of the tournament to DEMETRIS. That is going to be a punishable offense. Sorry to hear, young man.
Yeah, Kyle's been waiting to do that, as you can probably tell here, prepared at the desk here with that red sleeve. So we're just chatting it out here with the judges, making sure everything is ironed out here. I feel like this always happens in our top cuts, Kyle.
Yeah.
It's just kind of how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Life is a highway, right, Kyle?
No, it's not, okay? Life is life. We're not ka-chowing.
All right. Well, I guess, sheesh. I feel like we just got taken right out of this game here, Kyle. We were rolling here. I was so invested into this.
I believe the typical move from here, you reveal the information to both players, shuffle the deck. Usually going to be a double prize penalty in situations like this.
No.
That is big business if that is the case. We'll, of course, get word from that from our judges who are doing their best to continue on with the game here.
Which, I mean, we have seen players come back from DPLs before double prize card penalties, even in these situations in our top cuts, top fours, but it's tough. It is pretty tough, you know, especially when everything's coming down to this. Jake absolutely popped off in our first game here. This is already going into our second game, and everything's on the line.
Yep, you wish your opponent almost received the prize cards in situations like this.
Yeah.
There's reversal energies on the other side. There's Ionos on the other side, and DEMETRIS would love to have access to all of these. But when your opponent is playing to only get 4 prize cards, you can certainly manipulate when the prize cards are distributed and avoid some of those big knockouts potentially. So look to see if both players start to use this information to their advantage now.
Here we go. Looks like we're back into the game here. And it's just going to be that double prize card penalty. So you see that Jake RIGGS has 2 red Pokeballs there on the prize cards, 2 less to take.
Yeah, that is going to be very detrimental. We do have a little bit of updates from the rest of our games. Looks like Dylan has game 1 over Azul in the opener, and Hermione starting things off with a win against JW.
Yep, that Lost Box taking a game over Charizard. And of course, that Gudra stepping up versus Miraidon. Things are getting wild out there, but let's get back into this game now between our players.
Yep, Cresselia taking the simple knockout there. Understands you just need to continue to take prize cards, put some pressure, maybe on the hand for Jake. If you're not able to draw through, then you don't find those additional resources to take the rest of these prize cards. And Jake identifies that immediately and says, nope, I need Bidoof.
Bidoof going back into the deck here off of this Super Rod, as well as 2 Water Energy. And then we're going to see that Nest Ball go into the deck straight away. Grab that Bidoof onto the field, and a quick shuffle here from Jake. So how does this change our map here now that we have a DPL on the field, Kyle?
Yeah, you start to count the prize cards remaining. It looks like an easy prize card available in the Cresselia this turn. And from there, the prize cards are still tied. So taking a knockout on a Pokemon like Chien-Pao puts Gardevoir in a vulnerable position. You're just looking for cross-switcher. Chien-Pao knock out the Gardevoir EX for the win. Irida comes down here, and that is crucial. The rare candy finally found. This is the only one. But it is going to pay dividends here.
It is the only one here from Jake RIGGS that we've seen. Of course, the other 2 being in the prize cards. We did see a reshuffle of the prize cards, so I'm interested to see where those fell now that they're reshuffled. But we found it off of that Irida, of course. Pokestop also going to bump that Collapse Stadium here, and we're rolling.
Canceling Cologne Cross Switcher. This is Fatbacks in the active. 2 retreat cost. No energies as well, so still some resources looking to be found, and there's nothing there.
Yeah,
it's just rare candy backs pass.
Just a rare candy into the Baxcalibur, and that is it. We're over to DEMETRIS now. All right, let's start things off with our Shining Arcana. Gardevoir going to draw into these 2 cards, attach this Psychic Energy off of that, and then we're going to see another Gardevoir go into the hands, that Gardevoir EX.
Is this a game where we've already seen 2 bosses orders played? I know we've seen it at least 1, obviously, but there's only 2 in the list. So 1 potentially remaining. I don't know if DEMETRIS has the read, but if you target that Baxcalibur,
that's huge.
You're winning.
Yeah, exactly. There's no rare candy there. Ultra Ball.
That was a refinement.
Oh, yeah, I was like, wait, what's happening? I was like, whoa, we're drawing, Ultra Ball to the discard off of that refinement here to draw into 2 additional cards for DEMETRIS. Yeah, I don't think both boss. I think it was only 1 played earlier.
That would be very helpful. We see energies loaded up. It looks like once more, just another Cresselia turn. And why not target down that Bidoof once more? It worked out last time. Fatbacks in the active, can't do anything. And Iono, thin the hand down a little more.
Yeah, Collapse Stadium bumping away that Pokestop, so we're back to these limited benches from that Collapse Stadium. Iono going to be played here for both of our players.
Just 4 cards, but at this point, doing everything you need to. Found boss's orders, too.
Yeah, off of that 4 cards from the Iono, we're going to see this Moon Glow reverse now, transferring all these damage counters from each individual Pokemon. 20 from each being transferred.
Jake found the Bieberl off of the Iono, too. It hurt so much more. But it does have access to a lot of energies now. The Superior Energy Retrieval, the Radiant Greninja to continue to draw. And it looks like we will see Frigibax finally moving around.
Yes, finally, Frigibax can jump out of that active position, and Chien-Pao is going to join us once again for some shivery chill action going back into this deck here for Jake RIGGS, bringing out some energy. So, yeah, that could have gotten scary for sure, but looks like we're back on track for Jake, at least for now.
One more update. Looks like Grant Shen won game 2 in their match, so tied 1-1, moving on to game 3 there.
Grant Shen also playing Chien-Pao as well.
C-Pao rise up.
We're going to see a nest ball here from Jake going into the deck, grabbing out a Chien-Pao, a basic Pokemon being put onto the bench here.
Yeah, both Chien-Pao placed down. Obviously, a comfortable position at this point. DEMETRIS already has 3 prize cards, so making him work through both of these EX Pokemon makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You have Knockout lined up here on the Cresselia. Play another energy down onto the Chien-Pao. Why not at this point? And you're just looking for 5 more energies and the cross switchers to close out on that Gardevoir.
Well, here we go. We're going to see the energy discard there. And that's going to be another knockout. 1 more prize card taken for Jake RIGGS. Only 2 left to take over to DEMETRIS now. Has to promote a new active Pokemon here. Looks like there's some debate, but going to be that Gardevoir EX.
This is probably for retreating purposes at this point. You don't want to attack into this Chien-Pao, obviously. You're not taking a knockout. And Cresselia could be a nice Pokemon to incorporate here. Continue to add those energies. You're going to remove those 2 from the Gardevoir. You can replay them back down, knock out the Frigibax, and you're looking for those final 2 prize cards on the Chien-Pao.
Well, we see that Super Rod to shuffle those Pokemon back into the deck here. A level ball just going to be failed, shuffling up again.
Just about 10 cards left in the deck. Refinement and Shining Arcana still available too. So
yeah,
access to a lot of draw.
A lot of draw here. That deck has been thinned quite a bit on DEMETRIS' side. But let's see what else we can draw into here. For DEMETRIS, we're going to start off with the Shining Arcana.
And at this point, DEMETRIS can no longer bench any Pokemon under 90 hit points. It walks into a combo against that Manaphy and whatever that Pokemon may be. So along with taking a knockout here, you also need to evolve that Curlia this turn.
Looks like it was just the worker drawn into, and I think that reversal energy here. It's going to be an Ultra Ball to discard a couple of cards out of the hands.
Yeah, that was a big find. Needs the evolution at this turning point. Looks like the Gardevoir is there.
All right, we're going to get this Gardevoir, another Shining Arcana Gardevoir. Curlia is not going to remain there for DEMETRIS, evolving straight away into that Gardevoir here. Shuffling up. Wow, that deck is thin, Kyle.
Yeah, that is what both of these decks like to do. DEMETRIS, great job stopping Jake from doing this with consistent knockouts on the Bidoof and the Bieberl.
Absolutely. It's just going to be that Shining Arcana into 2 more draws to the hand for DEMETRIS.
Are there 4 energies available? 2 retreated off of the Gardevoir. If there's 2 in the discard pile, then Cresselia could take the knockout on the Frigibax. If not, may have to just put this Gardevoir at risk. Cresselia is benched.
Yeah, Cresselia is going to come down here for DEMETRIS. Gonna take a quick look through the discard pile on Jake's side of the field.
You have to expect enough Psychic Energies to be there at this point. There were none, I believed, in the deck.
Yeah, I mean,
at
the
that
whole deck
point.
is gone,
We only
right?
see access to 5 of those. 3 of those are going to be moved off. There has to be plenty in the discard pile here. Now, just debating which line makes the most sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, this is huge. This is what you see our players do quite frequently. Take a look at the resources your opponent has used, because that is going to kind of signify where they're at in their gameplay. If you kind of know the list, know what they're working with, then you can further dictate what's better for you to do. What route should I take that's most optimal in this matchup? So DEMETRIS is going to take a look here at everything on the board, but we see those energy in the discard pile. Looks like counting the energy that Jake has played.
Yeah, just trying to avoid enough energies to knock out Gardevoir EX at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, doing some math.
There's a lot to think about here. Obviously, use the clock as necessary, but need to see an action soon. And the retreat makes the most sense. This was the initial line for DEMETRIS if it were the Cresselia, but this is going to be the knockout. Ridgeback still would be in play. Cresselia could find that knockout at some later point. There's not much else other than the current knockout there, and the reversal energy is active. Oh, Boss's orders on the back Excalibur. This is actually game breaking. Jake knows this too. Both candies in the prize cards. That's closing out there. Huge read on DEMETRIS' side to identify that.
I mean, we saw DEMETRIS go into the discard pile several times during that last turn. And yeah, just had the read there. Jake knew I couldn't do anything after that. And wow, DEMETRIS is going to take this game too, tying things up between our players 1-1 in our Masters top 8.
Yeah, very strong facade there. Looking at it,
yeah, that was wild.
It was a house of cards. There's no rare candies left. There's nothing else. Jake has one final opportunity here to try to close things out here in this wild matchup.
Yeah, that was wild indeed, Kyle. We saw this is the last turn that we see here. Even though DEMETRIS was faced with a double prize card penalty, was still able to close things out. Swings with this Gardevoir, all of these energy being put on here, and nothing Jake could do there after that.
Yeah, just a really great read. Tried to identify every potential weakness that Jake had, and sure enough, that was the one.
That was the one, yeah.
You know, it may not have been because of rare candies, so he saw that there was a back Excalibur in the discard pile already, lost from the Pokestop, so take a second there to knock that out, and maybe there's some super rods already removed, but either way, it worked out just fine, and we get a game 3 because of it.
Yeah, I mean, that is huge showing of skill from DEMETRIS here. Knowing the matchup, knowing even you know, what is generally in the list as well, and just making that read. Taking a look at all the resources on Jake's side, not just weighing, you know, what is my best plan of action, but basing that plan of action on what my opponent's done so far in this game. And that was the correct move to make. DEMETRIS leading to a win in that game 2. So that's tying things up, and we're headed into a game 3. You love to see it. The intensity is going up from here. I hope if you're paying attention either at this venue, at this event, or at home, you're buckling in for a fantastic game 3 between these players.
We have some news on the other side. Azul taking game number 2. So
hanging on.
Azul against Dylan moving into game 3, along with Grant Shen in game 3 and their game as well. We're in game 3. Been a wild ride to get here, but wow, this is gonna be fun to see how Jake starts off this turn. So important on this opening turn to have Battle VIP Pass. We've only seen Jake go second, I believe, and that's always been the Irida with the VIP. Can you do it without it?
Well, let's take a look at these prize cards between our players here. A lot of Pokemon on DEMETRIS' side of the field. 2 Nest Ball and a rare candy and a cross switcher over on Jake's side of the prize cards.
Oh yeah, spin the wheel, here we go.
Wow, starting off
VIP Pass, but loses the Greninja in the process.
Gosh.
Win some, lose some.
Yeah, definitely win some, lose some. That Battle VIP Pass over here on Jake's side. This is the first turn, so getting some more Pokemon out here. But yeah, that Radiant Greninja gonna go into the discard pile, hopefully. Maybe can get shuffled back in later down the line. But what else is in this hand?
This is one of the great weaknesses of this deck. if you don't have a water energy in your opening hand, you don't get Chen Pao into the active spot. Jake started Chen Pao game 1 and game 2, could not do it 3 times in a row. And the hand is triple Ultra Ball, an Irida and a rare candy.
Wow.
That doesn't line up.
That does not line up. That is not a clean hand that we're seeing there, Kyle.
One of the canceling colognes in the hand, the other in the prize cards.
Yep.
So the combo's potentially offline for Jake. And look at DEMETRIS' start there. Ralts in the active spot, battle VIP pass to get things rolling.
Yeah, this is huge. You know, this is our game 3 here in our Masters Top 8, and this is DEMETRIS' first turn Battle VIP pass. Going to start us off, bringing down these Pokemon, starting with the Ralts in the active position as well. So DEMETRIS is going here. That Radiant Greninja in play now. We've seen how much utility that has served here for DEMETRIS in our previous game, so this is huge.
It's also just a flex. Jake does not have this Radiant Greninja anymore. I have this, and look what it can do. Draw a plethora of cards, and hopefully start to get the ball rolling for DEMETRIS one more. And maybe DEMETRIS feels a little more comfortable avoiding Manaphy in the opening setup. It gives you a lot more versatility, flexibility.
All right, here we go. Concealed cards. Going to be 2 additional cards for DEMETRIS, an Ultra Ball and a Fog Crystal. Wow, we're going to see a second Battle VIP pass as well.
Sign me up. This leads to an aggressive opening potentially. When you have all of the Ralts in play, you don't have to worry about the Mirage Step lining up. You can start to evolve, see those rare candies potentially early, take some knockouts, and really dictate the pace.
Yeah, definitely a good way to start things off here. Manaphy is going to be selected for that Battle VIP pass for DEMETRIS.
Multiple rare candies in hand and still goes for the Manaphy. Wants to play this very safe.
Well, we have a level ball as well. I'm going to search out another Pokemon here. Going back into the deck for that Ralts.
Mirage Step, no more.
Yeah, no, not today.
This is one of the old classics. Refinement, refinement, candy, candy, go, go, go. And this could be a wild next turn for DEMETRIS here.
Step on the gas with those rare candies, ending the turn there with all of these Pokemon out on the field. And that's scary to be looking at when you are the Chen Pao player, stuck with tons of Ultra Ball in your hand. It's just going to be one of those Ultra Ball, discarding that canceling cologne and a Pokestop.
Yeah, the combos aren't there anymore.
Yep.
Obviously, Radiant Greninja in the discard pile. You'd need a Super Rod early. Can you afford to lose a resource like that right now? I don't think so. And we do see Rare Candy Baxcalibur in hand. Bibarel likely to come down too. The issue now, no energies to be seen. Chen Pao is the only way to search those out, and it's still not in the active.
Yeah, it is not in the active position, and it's got to be there to get those energy out. Baxcalibur at least going to join us here off that rare candy, and we're rolling the Pokestop here. 2 items and that Irida going to the discard pile.
Well, adds additional cards into the hands before potentially finding the Bibarel, but this does mean that Irida can be used in this spot. Searching out, looks like Cross Switcher, but what do you target at this point other than just using this as a way to move a Pokemon? I suppose this is a way to move a Bidoof, and it doesn't feel great. But
oh my gosh, yeah, wow.
That's how it goes.
Guess you gotta do what you gotta do here. It's just gonna be those 2 cross switchers. Switching into the Chen Pao, that's at least gonna get us these energy, but yeah, those are resources spent now, Kyle.
It does not feel great. There are more avenues to drawing cards. Ultra Ball in hand. Of course, you can use those energies and then grab them again with the superior energy retrieval. The barrel likely added to the board now, and then you continue drawing up. You can bench the second Chen Pao, but then DEMETRIS is just licking his chops, seeing all of these 2 prize Pokemon in play, and you're likely taking the first knockout, walking into reversal.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very true. First to establish the board, first to the knockouts, and you're on your way. We are going to see some cards drawn into now from this Bibarel. Up to 5 in the hand now. thanks to that Industrious Incisors ability. Off of that, Bibarel on the bench. Frigibax joining us on the field, and we're going to see that Superior Energy Retrieval.
For 3.
Yeah, I know. It's discarding 2 cards from the hand, but it's only able to search out 3 energy now back from the discard pile. But that's all we're working with at this point.
Yep, the hidden MVP of that draw was the Frigibax. Needed to play that down. Boss's orders against that Baxcalibur would have been very detrimental. Jake almost grabbed 2 prize cards there. That would have been bad.
Just 1 prize card there off of that knockout. Jake is the first to take a prize here, but DEMETRIS has a very dangerous board getting set up already. We're starting off with a Fog Crystal to search out a Psychic Energy from the deck.
We'll see what the rest of the hand holds, but Radiant Greninja, obviously, an opportunity to draw if you need to. Pokestop is there too. We know there are plenty of ways to search out Kirlia in this deck. You can also find the rare candies, the Ultra Balls, whatever it be, to eventually lead to the Shining Arcana Gardevoir.
Yep, we'll have to see.
Oh, there's so much going on in this hand. At this point, I think you just want some fodder so that you can use your Ultra Ball, not discard great cards.
Oh, yeah,
there's reversal energy in this hand too.
Oh my
This is gasoline.
gosh, level ball. Gonna get that Kirlia out from DEMETRIS. This is gasoline, huh, Kyle?
That's what we're working with here. I mean, there's honestly some debate here at this point. Your opponent has a 2-card hand. If you can counter the stadium, knock out Bibarel, that sounds like a game-winning situation. You knock out Baxcalibur. How do they continue to keep going? You take 2 prize cards here on Chien-Pao, you're going to be ahead in the prize race. All of these options seem great.
Yeah, exactly. Seem great. Absolutely. We're going to see that refinement there from that Kirlia, drawing into 2 additional cards. And we're seeing the Ultra Ball now discarding some cards here to go back into the deck. See you later. Mirage Step and Mew.
Mirage, step out of my life. We don't need you anymore. And this is a pretty solid setup here. Rare candy, Shining Arcana Gardevoir ready to roll.
Yep. Ready to roll indeed.
All right, if you are a CPOW gamer, we got news for you. Gretchen losing there in the final game 3 to Christian Moreno. Lugia single strike version moving into the top 4.
There we go. Christian Moreno going to be one of the first people entering our top 4. We still have to conclude this game 3 on our stream here. And we're seeing a rare candy come down into that Gardevoir EX.
There's a lot of energies lined up. There's a reversal energy. There's a boss's orders. Decisions need to be made.
Oh my.
Oh, there's Iono in hand. But look at your opponent's hand. There's 2 cards.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be the Iono though. DEMETRIS going for that Iono. Both of these hands, just 2 cards each going to the bottom. DEMETRIS going to draw into 6 cards here. Jake only 5.
I don't know if I like that.
Well, taking a look at the discard pile here after that Iono.
I mean, clearly, already knockout lined up on the active, taking the prize lead. Never a bad thing. You get to continue to put on the pressure.
But do you leave a window?
A brand new hand, a Chien-Pao, Baxcalibur's still safe.
Yeah, and the hand was so bad as well for Jake before. So, yeah, working. I mean, it might just be that. Did you just give your opponent the window, the out here? We'll have to see. Jake is moving quick. Radiant Greninja coming back out here from that Super Rod and the Nest Ball. So that's going to join us on the field. Be able to now have that safety net drawing into more cards here for Jake. Shivery Chill also going to be activated on the ability on the Chien-Pao and the active. Going to take those 2 water energy out of the deck.
Yeah, if we could take a look at those prize cards for Jake, if the one prize taken was the canceling cologne, then there's an opportunity. I think there was a cross switcher also there in the prize card. So both of those options gone. Cross switchers were used early in the game just to move a Pokemon.
Yeah.
But the avenue of potentially bringing up that Manaphy, double knockout on Kirlia Gardevoir,
that would have been
great.
Brutal. That would have been great. Yeah, I feel like in all of these games, Jake has just had awkward prize cards, but still trying to work around it. We do see the rare candy into another Baxcalibur going in with the nest ball as well. But I mean,
Right.
you could see that hand got Jake into a lot better of a position than before.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like the Bidoof here at this point. It's an easy prize card for a Pokemon like Cresselia to pick off. And right now you had a lot of high hit points, potentially even a knockout with Buster Tail on one of these Excalibur if you wanted it. Instead now, are you attacking with Chien-Pao into a single prize Pokemon?
It's just going to be that energy.
Draw some cards. Well, we're seeing all the right pieces here for later.
Ooh, wow.
No, you don't want to lose all your supporters.
Oh my gosh, that is 3 cards, 2 supporters, and a Pokestop going into the discard pile off that Pokestop. That is not some Pogo Gamer moves there. Superior Energy Retrieval being played, discarding the Manaphy and the Chien-Pao.
Hopefully there's still 4 waters in there. Oh, that's a missequence. Needed to retreat first. Missing out on an energy there is not fun.
Yeah, that is not fun indeed. And I think Jake, seeing that too. Chien-Pao going to the bench here now. That Excalibur going to be moved up into the active position. We're going to see that Buster Tail for 130. Plenty of damage to take out that Gardevoir there in the active position. That's another prize card for Jake. We're over to Demetris, who has to promote into the active here. It's going to be this Kirlia.
Well, Jake now adding the Canceling Cologne to the hand. However, that final cross switcher still nowhere to be found up at the top. So completing the combo is not going to happen. Have to continue to attack through.
I wanted to see the combo wombo, Kyle.
I promise it's fun. But
it's fun. Yeah, the cards have just not really worked out in that way, unfortunately, for Jake. He's holding on, though. Demetris going to use a Super Rod here. Shuffling 2 Ralts and a Shining Arcana Gardevoir back into the deck. Of course, 2 Level Ball, 2 easy cards be played here. Thinning them out of the hands, thinning those Ralts out of the deck for Demetris.
Sign me up. That looks great.
Right? Yeah, just totally refreshing this entire board state on Demetris' side.
Have a little more news. JW taking game 2. That means we're moving into game 3 against Hermione and the Hisuian Goodra.
That is, battle of Goodra versus Miraidon. Who's going to come out on top? They're just now starting their game 3. It's getting intense in here. We see that refinement, discarding that energy. Fog Crystal Iono added into the hand here for Demetris.
Yeah, running out of attackers at this point. And obviously, you see a Pokemon like Excalibur in the active. It's not a Pokemon you're really threatened by.
Yep.
You're okay with seeing this, and Cresselia is opened back up. Leads back to that Bidoof.
That Bidoof decision, yeah, it's huge, actually. For Jake to put down that tiny little Bidoof. Only 60 HP, 60 hit points that can easily be exploited from Demetris. We're going to see the worker into drawing 3 additional cards, getting rid of that Pokestop as well for Jake. Not that it was giving him much help, at least in the last turn here. Cresselia jumping on to the bench here.
At this point now, considering if there's any issues with playing the energy to the active so that you don't leave the damage on board, there's always avenues where you might need to attach all those energies for Shining Arcana opportunity. So only leaving 20 on there makes the most sense. Leave no damage on your board after this Cresselia attacks. Everything's lining up over here for Demetris.
Everything's lining up indeed for each of these Psychic Embrace. Psychic energies being accelerated from the discard pile. It's going to be 2 damage counters placed onto those Pokemon. And then this Moonglow Reverse wipes those damage counters away. 2 from each of your Pokemon that have them on there. That's enough damage here for Demetris. Going to use an Ultra Ball first here before ending off this turn to go for that Shining Arcana Gardevoir.
And this is just a nod to the fact that Demetris does not have all the information. There could be double cross switchers still waiting, so evolving this Pokemon makes the most sense. Don't walk into a situation where you're not going to have access to the Shining Arcana.
Yeah, make sure you have all of your Ralts in a line, right?
Yep, like ducks in a row. There you go.
And here we go. That Bidoof that was put onto the field from Jake RIGGS is now wiped off shortly after here. And that's going to be another prize card for DEMETRIS, going down to 3 prize cards left to take. Jake RIGGS sitting at 4 to take. Baxcalibur still in the active position here for Jake. What are we working with in the hands? Just going to be enough?
Yeah, I mean, Jake found the right cards if he wanted to thin and draw with the B-roll here. He found Superior Energy Retrieval, found the Ultra Ball. There were opportunities, however, did not feel inclined to do that and dig through. And I mean, what is there to dig for at this point?
Yeah,
you're just looking for prize cards. Maybe Jake uses Hisuian Heavy Ball, thins that out.
Reshuffle?
Gets the cross switcher into the final position and then can work on the final 2 prize cards of that Gardevoir EX.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm starting to worry because DEMETRIS probably has an opportunity to boss his orders this Chen Pao and get to 1 prize card remaining.
Yeah, that is not good here for Jake RIGGS. That's exactly where we're going to see the boss's orders being played. Chen Pao being brought up into the active position on Jake's side. All of these energy being accelerated onto this Shining Arcana Gardevoir here. And DEMETRIS going in with some Brainwave.
Starting to line up a near checkmate. Iono already discarded for Jake. The only way to disrupt the hand, just continue to draw cards. And DEMETRIS can find every opportunity to close out here. If Gardevoir EX is targeted and knocked out, Gardevoir is left able to knock out anything on the side of Jake's board. If Gardevoir is knocked out, clearly there's a Pokemon like Zacian that could potentially be found to clean up that final prize.
Yep, that's it. Brainwave gonna take the knockout. 2 prize cards down, just 1 left to take, putting DEMETRIS EATON into our top 4. It's all on the line here. Jake RIGGS gonna go into the deck with the concealed cards, discarding an energy there, but that Chen Pao is gone.
Yeah, there's just not enough pieces.
Now
it's gonna take a look at the bad news. Obviously, already knows this, but that cross switcher is hanging out there. When you use cross switcher to basically retreat, you probably won't have resources at the end of the game.
Yeah, that really is what happened. It's just an unfortunate starting Pokemon. Super Rod can be used, bring Chen Pao back into the deck, as well as 2 Water Energy. Ultra Ball gonna grab that Chen Pao back.
Wow. Amazing.
The huge.
Jake just pretended to get excited there.
Yeah, that is one thing about Jake. He's very animated when he plays. Very animated and maybe a little sarcastic as well.
Hey, sign me up. That's how I play Pokemon too.
Kyle.
Well, put as many hit points as you can in the active spot and hope that the doggy doesn't exist.
Yeah, but
there's definitely something there though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when it comes down to the late game with Gardevoir, that's where Gardevoir thrives. As long as the board state is there, you're just working against an uphill battle, a bullet train that's been chugging along, and DEMETRIS is put into that place where just 1 prize card left to take, tons of resources, tons of energy.
Are we going to meme? I think we're memeing. I think we're just going to play all the energies at this point. He threw away the only combo card he had. Yeah, giddy up. Yeah, spread the love. Everybody's getting energy. Does Radiant
How much damage we doing? How much damage?
Draw all the cards. Here we go.
5 cards to the hand.
Found another one. Oh, is he trying to deck himself? That's another great opportunity. The Pokestops there. Oh,
all those energy. Just going to be a knockout there on that Shining Arcana Gardevoir. DEMETRIS left here to take things down with the doggo.
Easy retreat here from the Gardevoir. Psychic Embrace to load up the Zacian V, knock out the active Chen Pao, and DEMETRIS will book his ticket into the top 4 here. Big knockout, closing out a great set.
Great set between these players, but DEMETRIS EATON, I mean, you see that huge sigh of relief there that he was able to take things down. I mean, It looked dicey. That first game we saw pretty much no gameplay from DEMETRIS, unfortunately. Second game, we saw a double prize card penalty, was able to work his way against that. And third game, taking it home, punching the ticket for that top 4.